Hey everyone, how are we doing today? And welcome to the Dropped in 3 channel. Now today we're going to be doing a full review for Across the Spider-Verse. I kind of messed up because I'm doing this pretty spontaneously because of time. I don't have notes, so we're going off the fly. So if I miss anything, I'm sorry, because I'm not even gonna lie to you. There is so much I want to talk about this movie. There's absolutely so much. And to be honest with you, if I was real and I actually wanted to just talk about everything I want to talk about, I'm pretty sure we'll be here for at least an hour plus, at least. So because of that, I'm gonna try and go and break down as quickly as possible the stuff I really want to talk about. So if you don't know, full reviews are spoilers, and it's a spoiler review essentially. It's for me to essentially just nerd out and just express my views on the movie. So if you've not seen Across the Spider-Verse, in about a couple seconds, click off. All I'm gonna say is it's a masterpiece. I have a spoiler-free review on my channel, so please, I'm gonna put that, I believe, in the description, if not around this video. So if you want to see a spoiler-free review, please click on that video. That is a long There's a long and zero spoilers. I barely talk about the plot in that one. So if you like that, go and check that one out. All right, cool. Now we're going straight into spoilers for this review in about a couple seconds. Well, basically now. Man, where do I even begin with this movie? First off, congratulations. That's the first thing I need to say, actually. Congratulations to Lord and Miller, the directors, Sony Animation, Sony, Spider-Man team, Spider-Man, the creator of Spider-Man. I forgot his name. Well, I was gonna say, oh my god, Stanley. Oh my god. But sorry. But everything Spider-Man related. Sony. I already said Sony, I believe. Everybody who worked on this production. I'm talking the animators. I'm talking the actors. I'm talking everybody. Every single person. Congratulations, you deserve the biggest gok you've ever had in your life. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, back to the actual review. This movie is an absolute masterpiece. It's a 10 out of 10. It's one of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. I honestly, if you want me to be blunt and honest, right, I want to say it's the best movie I've ever seen in my life. I actually really want to. It's definitely my favorite movie I've ever seen in my life, because the way I'm thinking about this movie, I've never thought of a movie like this in a minute. So I will say that. But in terms of the best, I actually kind of want to. Basically, it is the best for me, but because it's so recent, it's hard for me to just outright stamp it's the best movie I've ever seen in my life, even though it kind of is. Even though it is. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's my problem, because after I watched this movie, I sat down, the credits rolled, even though I was waiting for after credits. I literally was in awe, and I really sat down and I thought, is this the best movie I've ever seen in my life? Because I was just like, everything I wanted in a movie I got. And it's Spider-Man. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy, because the movie has incredible animation, incredible art, incredible music, incredible voice acting. But the story is so damn cold. The story is so damn fantastic. So well written. Who would have thought that Miles would be the Prowler at the end of the movie? Who would have thought that the alternate version of Miles was Prowler? What a cool plot twist. And do you know what's mad, yeah? Honestly, when I saw the Prowler, a small part of me was thinking, okay, this is probably like narratively, this should be where you end the movie, right? And then we move on to part 2. I mean, it's a big, like, Miles is Prowler, isn't it? But a small part of me was also like, wait a minute, surely this movie isn't over, right? Because I didn't check my watch, and I was so immersed that it just felt like an hour had gone by, even though like 2 hours and 40 minutes had gone by. 2 hours and 2 hours and 20 minutes had gone by, which is credit and testament to the movie, because it was that exciting that I just couldn't stop watching it. Like, Jesus, man, my eyes was glued to the screen. But let's get on to story, because this is all spoilers, right? So we're mainly here to talk about story. I already talked about how fantastic the animation is, even though I want to talk about it like forever and ever and ever. I really do, and I will talk about it in regards to Gwen, especially because Gwen, art and animation in Gwen, it ties to every character. What am I saying? It ties to every character, but especially Gwen, and there's a reason why. But in terms of the story, right? So the fact that this story is about Miles essentially trying to be accepted as Spider-Man, because we had the first movie, which kind of is a similar message, but the message was, okay, can you put on the mask? Like, Peter Parker was Spider-Man. Can you, Miles Morales, be Spider-Man? And that was the message. Like, okay, anyone can be the mask. Anyone can wear the mask. This one was more like, okay, anyone can wear the mask. We're all connected in terms of this whole, the mask means something. And then Miles is trying to basically break that tradition. So I like that. I like that. That's a really intelligent concept from Miller and Lord. I think it's Miller and Lord that came up with the concept of that. So very intelligent from them. Sorry, I need a drink. Okay, very intelligent from them. So that already made me vibe with the story already. Then I love the way this movie starts. Oh my god, the movie. Even though I was a little annoyed because I couldn't really hear, I could just about hear Gwen, because it was an initial shock when the movie started. Gwen started talking and she sounded a little bit more quiet than I thought she would, because I was just like, actually she's a little bit more quiet. You see what I'm saying? So then I had to at that point you had to adjust your ears to really pick up on what people were saying. But what an opening! What a flipping opening! Dude, it starts off right with the same type of vibe of the first movie, with the whole everything multiversal and stuff. Then the music, even the way it starts, how Gwen comes in and starts and says, all right, let's try something different. I'm like, yeah, man. We're in a sequel now. Imagine if they started and be like, let's do this one more time. I would have been like, I think, to be honest with you, I would have vibed with it, because, Into the Spider-Verse is a classic, man. It's one of the best movies ever, man. So, of course, I'll be cool with it. But the fact that they started completely differently, and with Gwen, and the way it started with Gwen, it really felt like we were going to go on an epic journey here. I love this movie so much. Oh man, I love this movie so much. Oh dude, man, I wish I had more time to talk about this movie. Oh my god. But anyway, let's just talk about that opening, because it starts off, the colors drop in, the music, doom. Oh, dude. Anyway, sorry. So the music in the beginning was crazy, because I was like, yeah, man, sorry. I should have. I'm trying my hardest not to overanalyze this one scene, because there's so much more to talk about. But to get straight to the point, yeah, I love the way it started, because it gave us the vibe of, okay, this is the actual Spider-Man movie. It felt like a big budget. It felt like Sony had spent $300 million and said, okay, this is a big Spider-Man movie. This is an MCU, serious Spider-Man movie. Because the vibe alone, it felt like we were about to get into some deep stuff as well. And especially with Gwen saying that I hurt Miles. And I was like, oh, wow, Gwen, how did you hurt Miles? And it was interesting to find out how she hurt Miles, and the fact that she didn't tell him that, he wasn't really meant to be Spider-Man. Which is, actually, she hurt him a bit more than that. Because now I think about it, after watching it a second time, Miles was missing every Spider-Verse person, but they were all just hopping to different dimensions and saying, what's up, bro? Poor Miles. I feel for it, because it's if I was Miles, yeah, and I hear that Gwen and Peter have been chilling for ages, I'll be like, what the hell? What the hell? Come on, seriously. So I can't blame him there. But anyway, with the movie opening, yeah, which was absolutely fire, and which, yet again, I wish the music was a little bit louder, because I think my soul would have left my spirit at that point. Soul would have left my body at that point, but it did anyway. What the hell? It left it for the whole movie anyway. But the colors of Gwen's world, wow, man, Gwen's world. We saw a glimpse of it in Across the Spider-Verse. Gwen's world, man. And it's especially hit me hard, and I actually was on the verge of tears when with the plot. We're not gonna go sequentially. If you didn't know, we're gonna jump in different parts of the plot. But when Gwen, because you know how this film begins, and then Gwen has that alteration with her father after defeating Vulture, because she ran out of webs, and he's trying to catch her because Peter died and all that. And I love the fact we got more of that backstory, because she mentioned it Into the Spider-Verse, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's actually pretty deep. I hope you're okay. And then we started with it in this movie, and I was like, oh, that's actually pretty deep. I hope you're okay. So very good, smart move yet again, because the character arc of Gwen, and the fact that she lost her best friend and Peter, and she doesn't do friends because she lost her best friend and she's Spider Person, and because being a Spider Person, it's easy to lose close friends and all that. So it helped with Gwen's arc of trying to keep her friend Miles, if that makes sense. So I really like that as well. But coming back to that, right, to the watercolor, to the basically the Gwen's World thing, I loved it in Gwen's World when after the interaction with her father because of all the pizza thing, as I just explained, and she runs off and all that, and they come back and her and her father meet again. This scene was beautiful because Gwen is expressing herself to her family, for her father, and especially when you've seen with Miles and Gwen. Well, basically the parallel of Miles and Gwen is their parent does not understand them and they're trying to explain it to them, especially when they're Spider-Man. Which, oh man, there's so much to talk about this movie. Like, the writing is so layered because, oh man, there's so much. Okay, we'll talk. I'll have to save that to the section for a bit. But coming back to that point, yeah. So Gwen is talking to her dad and she's expressing her feelings, and what I loved, yeah, was, and this is why I mean by animation, like, you gotta take animation very, very seriously. The art and animation of the water, like, kind of like a water paint, as her moods, she's expressing her feelings and the mood, she's just pouring it out and out and out. And it's just dripping across the screen. I was literally looking at the screen like, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Like, this is visual storytelling up here. And it like, so her mood is coming, she's talking, and it's visuals, and the water paint is, I believe it's watercolored paint, dripping across the screen. And then when her dad expresses that he left her job because of her and he loves her and all that, and then everything just went white, I was like, wow. I was just like, wow, this is a movie, man. This is art, man. Like, when I saw that, I just said, this is art, and I was literally on the verge of tears. That was art. And that wasn't the only time I was on the verge of tears. The other scene was with Miles. Hence why Miles and Gwen, right? I'm gonna be real. Miles and Gwen's, they're the clear, obvious MVPs of the movie. Even though I love Hobie, and Hobie was my favorite Spider Person, they were, bro, like, their relationship is the movie. Let's be real. It's the movie. But because the parallel was with Miles, and even though unfortunately it was Rio Morales from another universe, for crying out loud, what a sick plot twist, by the way, because I didn't expect that. I did not expect that. And watching it a second time, you notice it. And oh man, this movie. Sorry, there's so much to gush about. So yeah, Miles, when Miles was talking to his mom and you're saying that, and he was going through essentially what Rio Morales told Miles, in the fact that don't let any of them treat you like that if you're going into that place, which I mentioned in my review is hits home as a black person, because you hear that from your parents a lot. When you're going into the world, don't let them treat you like some kind of rubbish person because they're looking at you very differently. You have to show them who you are, and even if anything goes bad for you, just know that you have a place at home. And this is, I don't know if it's the same for other minorities, but definitely other races, but definitely especially for Africans and black people, especially when your parents have come from a different country. That's kind of like a message that hits very home. So when Miles was talking to his mom, Rio, and he was saying that, I heard what you said, I learned what you said, I've taken it in, and you were right that some people, they even the fact that, this is storytelling right here, because I know it's in the context of Spider-Man, but you can relate really hard as a black person. When Miles was like that, I went out there and they didn't accept me, they didn't want me, but I beat them all. I was like, yeah, man, Miles, that's my guy right there. You see, like, this is what I mean by Lord and Miller, you're legends, man, because writing like that right there is like, damn. Like, that's just multi-layered writing right there. And in contrast to Gwen, for example, with Gwen and saying that the fact that her father just couldn't understand her and she's trying to express herself, as she just holds a lot of things in because she doesn't feel like she'll be accepted for everything, especially with being Spider-Woman, sorry. That was that. But with Miles, it's kind of the same thing, but it's different in the fact that, well, I would say it's pretty much the same, actually, because it's more like Miles wanted to be accepted for being Spider-Man. Like, let me express my whole being to you and let you understand me so that we can understand each other. And that's a lot of those two messages relate to each other so well. But what is special about it even more is they all relate to Spider-Man. And that's the point of this movie. Like, Spider-Man is like Spider-Person, right? Or Spider people through the webs, they all have similar ways of suffering. And that's why I love the whole canon events and the whole using weaponizing the captain. The captain must die in order for a Spider Person to be a Spider Person in their universe. I love the way they weaponize the multiverse and basically everything happening for a reason. I love the way that Miller and Lord wrote this movie with that, because it's using everything we know about Spider-Man, all the nostalgia, everything we've known about Spider-Man in games and movies and animation and everything, and then just using it to tell an incredible story. And this is why I look at MCU and DC and I get annoyed, because I'm like, that's what I want. All I want is give me my character from the comic book and just tell a flipping good story by using what makes the character the character. Do you see what I mean? And Lord and Miller understood what made Spider-Man Spider. Actually, everybody understood what made Spider-Man Spider-Man, and they used that so well with every single character. So yeah, wow, this. Yeah, man. Sorry, that was a very long-winded explanation about why I love these characters. But to get to the other characters other than Miles and Gwen and their story. Hobie Brown, bruv. I love Spider-Punk, man. I love him. Daniel Kaluuya killed him as him. He was definitely a standout. And it's funny how they started off as he came in and you were thinking, oh my god, he's gonna be like the love triangle guy. Like, oh no, I hope he's not bad. And he just comes in with vibes. And you're just like, yeah, man, Hobie. I love how we're all like, yeah, man, Hobie, we love you, bro. Hobie Brown, man. Yeah, man. He was just a blast, man. He was just a bunch of fun, a bundle of joy. And my Oscar Isaac as Spider-Man 2099, I loved him. I hope he does him as live action maybe, because Spider-Man 2099, I'm gonna be real, I didn't really know him that much before the Spider-Verse movies, but now that I do, I want to know more about him, and I'm really glad that we got a really cool, interesting new Spider-Man. Actually, that's what I love about this movie the most, actually, is I'm a Spider-Man fan, right? I've loved Spider-Man for years. But the diversification of Spider-Man, even the fact we're getting Spider-Women, Spider-People, Spider-anything, right? Who would have thought it would work so well? Like, I want to hear, like, now with these type of stories, right? Sony doesn't have an excuse anymore to be making these Venoms and Madam Webs and Morbiuses when there's Spider-Man 2099, Gwen Stacy, Miles Morales, all these characters, even Peter B. Parker, yeah. Peter B. Parker, I loved him more the more I rewatched Into the Spider-Verse. But Across the Spider-Verse, yeah. Who would have thought seeing Peter Parker have a family would be something I really wanted to see. I never would have thought. I really love seeing Peter Parker married to Mary Jane with a child, Mayday. Like, I love it, man. I was eating that up. Mayday was barely in the movie, and I was seeing her up every single time. So it just shows me that Sony, man, the future of Spider-Man is bright. And I'll give credit to Sony, because there have been times when I was younger where I thought, man, Sony, you don't know what you're doing with Spider-Man. Just sell this thing to Disney and let's just have Spider-Man in the MCU and call it a day. But I'm really glad that Sony were able to stick to their guns. And even though they did allow us to have Spider-Man in the MCU, they really stuck to their guns and said, and they tried to make this franchise work. Yes, they've had a lot of L's. They've had, let's be real, like Venom, Morbius, let's not joke, they're L's. But at least we got the Spider-Verse, man. Because of Spider-Verse, man, Sony, you're forgiven for all those L's. Every single one of those L's, you're forgiven. You're forgiven for Madam Web. You're forgiven for El Muerto or whatever that thing was. You're forgiven for Kraven the Hunter. But let's be real, because all three of those, they're not going to be good. So you're forgiven in advance, because these Spider-Verse movies are some of the best superhero movies ever made. And, well, they're the best superhero movies ever made, actually. They're the best Spider-Man movies ever made. And I feel like this raises the bar for the medium superhero genre. It really, really, really raises the bar. Everybody's going to watch this, from every single stakeholder in superhero media is going to watch this and be like, we need to do better. 100%, 100, hands down. So credit to everybody that worked in this movie. You did an absolutely fantastic job. And Sony, keep it up. Like, I know we're getting a Spider-Verse with Gwen Stacy. I really want to see that. Like, if it's animated, please. Animated Gwen Stacy Spider-Woman team. I would love to see that. Also, Spider-Man 2099. please don't forget any of these Spider characters. Don't forget Spider Bite. Don't forget Privateer. Privateer, please don't forget him. He was awesome. Also, oh yeah, with Privateer, there's one thing I have to mention. The chai joke was absolutely hilarious because me personally, yeah, as a Nigerian, I hate it when people are just ignorant to cultural differences. I hate it so much. So that joke killed me because I felt bad because I was like, oh, really? It's actually chai? All right, cool. I'm never calling it chai tea ever again. I'm going to call it chai, and I'm going to actually apologize for ever calling it chai tea because trust me, I get that completely. But anyway, with Sony, yeah, please don't forget about these Spider characters. And honestly, Sony has actually played some 4D chess right here because now with this Spider-Verse movie and the fact that everybody loves it, and let's be real here, it needs to be nominated. Oh, I have to say this right now. I didn't even say this actually. This movie, it's imperative it has to be nominated for Best Picture. It has to. And in my honest opinion, it has to win it. It has to, because we're talking about if you're talking about a movie and you're talking about the Best Picture of the year. To me, Best Picture is the best movie of the year, right? An animated movie should be able to win that because it means it's best movie, not best live action movie. Then it's different, but it's called best movie. And in terms of visually, yeah, even if a movie comes out that's better written or better acted or even has better music or better at any of those things, I have no idea, zero idea how any movie is actually going to be as visually stunning as this one. There's no amount of cinematography I can think of that any of these movies that are coming out this year is going to do. There's going to be as good as Spider-Verse. No. Nothing is going to come close to this because what we were watching on screen is literal art. So nothing is going to come close to this. So my point was, since this is probably going to be nominated for Best Picture, right? Sony, man, please ride this Spider-Verse wave well. If I was you, right? If I'm Amy Pascal, I'm giving Lord and Miller full creative control of Spider-Man, like the whole IP. Basically, what they did with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni with Star Wars, do that with the Lord and Miller with Spider-Man, please. Just give them everything. Just give them. And honestly, yeah, the reason why, okay, so what I was trying to say was Sony has played some 4D chess because with this movie, right, everyone loves it. It's probably going to get nominated for, it better get nominated for Best Picture. But now, if Sony leaves the MCU, I actually don't think anyone will complain. In fact, I think everyone will perfectly understand it because we can have years and years and years of story just on Spider-Man alone based off Spider-Verse. If Sony want, right, let's say after they do the Tom Holland, there's another trilogy, right? If they really want to, after that trilogy, they can stop there, do Miles for like another like 4 or 5 movies, stop there, do Spider-Man 2099 for another 4 or 5 movies, stop there, even throw in Spider-Punk at sometimes, throw in Spider-Gwen as well in the meantime. Also, stop there, maybe even do, I don't know, Spider-Woman later, stop there, Spider-Woman as in Jessica Drew, stop there, do Silk. Like, there's so many options that they have right now. Like, so many options, because each character, even though they have similar versions, even though they have Spider-Man's, like, powers, they're all so different in terms of the powers, the moveset, and the character. They could just have so much story. So, if I was the MCU, I'd be sweating balls. Because, low-key, Spider-Man might not be there anymore. I'm not even gonna lie. Spider-Man might not be there anymore. Because, I wouldn't be surprised if Sony just be like, why do we need MCU when we got Spider-Man? And also, on top of that, right, what doesn't help Marvel is their movies are getting worse. Apart from Guardians, even though the directors that's going to go to DC, they was directed by that guy, the guy who's going to go be the head of DC. If their movies just keep on getting worse and worse, Sony would be like, why should we partner with you? Your movies are not good. Our movies are winning Oscars. Like, why should we? You know what I mean? So Marvel needs to be Disney Marvel need to be very, very careful. Very, very careful, 100%. But anyway, that was me talking for 25 minutes on Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. That's how much I love the movie is that I'm trying to do these reviews for like 10 to 15 minutes now, but because it's Spider-Verse, I had no choice but to talk about it forever. Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? Let me know in the comment section. I'm open to discussion. Thank you very much for watching again. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel for more on pop culture and entertainment. I hope you have a great day. Stay safe and I'll see you soon. All right.